76 months. 76 months. Sorry, just we've been doing this a long time, huh? Or Soldier 70. 76 is a good number. It is associated with a lot of things in America, but it's also just a nice, satisfying number to say out loud. It's like the fun number, but without the sexual connotation. Yeah, actually, that's probably a good point. I probably should have been careful about the Club's 27 joke, because I don't know if people actually know what that is. October 10th, 2017. Holy shit. I did almost... I forgot to grab the link for Twitch at first, so I did almost accidentally announce to everyone in the Discord that Stray Kids were charting on the Billboard. And, like, I don't know. I don't think that's something y'all are interested in. Sophia! Oh my god, Eric, thank you. Let me switch to the IRLC. Eric, thank you so much for the subscription gift. I really appreciate it. Hi, hello. I have been working for the past couple of weeks on the intro for the next video. Once that's done, I'm going to be taking a break for a little while, probably just like a week maybe, and then I will be trying to finish the video. I am hoping there's going to be a new video in September. That's the goal. Don't know how long it'll be yet, but I'm guessing it's going to be on the upper side of an hour video coming out in September. So I wanted to start with that, because I am deep in progress. It has gone from, I know I'm making this payday video, to, okay, it's being made. I am doing production on it. Like, I have large parts written, I have things filmed, like, it's happening. So how does it feel being old? How does it feel being 27? Okay, here's how it feels being 27. I am a little bit regretful of some shit that I have done health-wise to myself over the years. Thank you, Kraz. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Merci. But I wish I had maybe either done more or less parkour. I wish I either did more running when I was young, so that I would be even more resilient now, or I didn't do quite as much as I did, so that I don't got legs that like to hurt, legs that like to lock up. Carl, happy birthday. Thank you. What's crazy is I didn't connect with Mirror's Edge. I think it's a good game, but I just didn't... It didn't click with me. Maybe because the story isn't really there. Maybe that was part of it. I liked the aesthetic, and I enjoyed the parkour mechanics, but it just didn't stick. But yeah, this new video has got me doing stuff I haven't done before for videos. It's got me installing new software and learning new skills and playing instruments, and it's weird because I know that I'm working too hard on this. I know I'm putting more effort in than is actually going to be taken from people's enjoyment of it. I am keenly aware of that. But I am having so much fucking fun. It depends. I'm aiming for the video to come out sometime in September. So possibly it will be after the 3rd DLC, but before the 4th. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it might end up being after the 4th DLC. I did decide there had to be what instruments. I've got an electric guitar back there that I bought a TS cable for and got to play. I got to shred a little bit of Razormind, and I am excited. You don't go to school and move regularly. You got rusty. Recently, a bike ride was only 5 minutes. The whole body hurt. Yeah, it's crazy how certain things I can do just, like, the motion comes second nature to me. It doesn't hurt at all. My body is trained for it. I can crouch and slip under fences, no problem. I am able to move my back in a way that doesn't hurt. If I need to just crouch down to get something, either my knees or my back are gonna start fucking hurting. Do a flip. You feel like it would be more fair to wait until DLC 4? I decided there had to be a cutoff point because the longer I wait to release the video, the further away from a point the video will have. As is always the case with me, the video is loudly about the topic, but is also about the culture. It is about... I am making a video about Payday 3, but if I'm being honest with myself, the video I'm really making is a video about live service games. It will be through the medium of Payday 3, but it will be talking about the culture of live service games and how it is inevitably and always going to be a race to the bottom. They're just at a principle level. Live service games can only ever get worse. That might sound like I'm either exaggerating or talking out of my ass, but there are so many things in place required to keep a live service game going that cost money and are exponential in price increases as time changes and as technology changes. As what people want out of games even changes, as the way people interact with games changes. Between licensing fees and servers and estimating player counts, there is so many ways that setting out to make a live service game will only ever make you have a shittier product in the end. You will always have a shittier product than if you accepted that some parts of the game are going to have to be offline and client accessible. Cold takes video on it. I feel like I haven't seen that video, but I do feel like a lot of people have made videos about this, and the one I am trying to make is going to be like, not necessarily I told you so, because everyone knew, but here is the damage that has already been done, and here is proof of how you can undo it. Like, there are very specific issues that Payday 3 has that are, if you follow back the path of logic of how that decision got made, you inevitably land on they accepted it was going to have to be like that because of server connectivity. And it informs development in such a hostile way when you have to accept that there are certain things you just cannot do because it will require an internet connection and will introduce new breakable factors. It's going to if they don't change course. Merci beaucoup, mon amour. Mon amour. Mon ami is friend. The mon amour is love. Tapar. Alright. Yeah, fuck job. Yes, you're right. You are right. Fuck job hunting. That I can actually pivot to that too. It's the same core issue with job hunting as it is with live service games, of you are outsourcing a component of this that the default expectation of everyone involved is that it will just work, it will work quickly, and it will work locally. What I mean by that is, if you are applying to a local business, person, well, thank you, person. I am also person. Thank you. 1,340, that's a low, you weren't on the first, damn. Couldn't get sub 1,000 though, huh? A little slow. That's alright though, that's alright. Still, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. You're in the job hunting spiral and you're feeling hopeless because you got in one interview and countless immediate rejections if they reply at all. So, when you are applying for a job, if you're applying for a job locally, oh Jay, oh you two are, holy shit, there's so many people. There's that's at least 2 people, 3 maybe? Damn, I can't keep track. Oh, L, congrats! Eric, that's seriously, I am aware of a lot of the turmoil and stress that goes into grinding away at that apprenticeship. I have not done it myself, but my mon amant has. So seriously, congratulations. That's fucking incredible. But yes, job hunting. If you apply for a local job, you expect local considerations, right? Of the person will identify what makes sense in the area. They'll vaguely know what that school meant. They will understand if there is a gap in your resume, if at a certain time, like, oh, that's when that event in the town was happening. That's when that family was going through X or Y. You expect a little bit of human knowledge going into it. In the same way of when you are playing a game, you expect certain things to just kind of work because they always have, right? Conversely, a developer of a game and somebody who is putting out a job listing for their business, they are also expecting it to just work because it always has. It's a lot of work, obviously. It's a lot of effort to run a business, to run a game studio, and to create something to sell. But everyone is expecting the same thing. Everyone is expecting, yeah, I'm looking for a job client, they will get matched to me. I am building a game for a service and the servers say they'll work, and everything should work on my end. And then everyone on the client side, the players and the job hunters, are thinking, okay, everything should work, everything as listed works. And then we're talking the same language, so nobody thinks anything is wrong. Up until the point where you actually try to accomplish something, where you try to do the task, and we all have to go to the same third-party service who doesn't give a shit. Whether it's one third-party service or several along the way, their job is server. Their job is move names around until the criteria in the resume matches vaguely the boxes you ticked. But all of it is black boxed. All of it is a third-party service. All of it is disconnected from immediate accessibility to the developer side and visibility to the client side. So anything that's going wrong on the client side, the client is going to inevitably blame the business side. The business is going to be blaming the third party. The third party doesn't give a shit. Job hunting right now is so bad because the part where it breaks is invisible. The part where it breaks is invisible. You send out job applications to a business and you ostensibly are under the impression the business will get that application. That's probably not happening. What's probably happening is it's getting bounced and rejected by an algorithm because of one criteria that wasn't hit that another resume of someone who is savvy to this shit did hit instead. But also, as is inevitably the case with both a game studio and working to get hired at a job, or like working to get employees for a job, you also have bad actors to consider. You have people who are trying to cheat or people who are trying to DDoS your servers, and you also have people who are lying on their resume, which, let's be honest, is not that big of a deal, but more of an issue is mass spam of job seeking, usually for online jobs, of people who either use a bot to generate an algorithm to put out resumes, use a third-party service to do it, or it's part of a larger like botnet that's working for some entity somewhere. But all of the things that could be done to identify, to intuit a bad actor from a regular person hiring, it's all getting filtered at the same place. As far as the client is concerned, they are submitting an application and the business is seeing it and it's getting rejected. As far as the business is concerned, they are getting in applications, some of which are good, some of which are bad, and then they eventually pick a client. What's not being shown is you're only getting like a handful of resumes of people who have probably applied to a lot of places because all of the previous places they applied didn't give them anything. So there's more of an incentive. This comparison does keep going. If you as a player of a game are not getting into a server, if you are not able to play the game, the instinct isn't immediately to give up. The instinct is that didn't work, let me try again, which inevitably hammers the servers more and makes it harder for them to keep running, to actually get back online and to get stable. If the problem is job applications being spammed en masse into an algorithm that puts them down into a reasonable amount, but the only reason people are spamming job applications en masse is to work through these fucking algorithms, it's a completely self-invented problem. It would not be an issue if you just produced the software for the end user, or if you, in the case of a job, if you hire directly, if you ask for resumes, look at the resumes and read the resumes, and then decide based off of the resumes. Sorry, I went on a rant there. Let me catch up with chat now. Without ever sitting down to study. Ah! Hell yeah. Your current problem is lack of experience because you got your union qualifications, but they're not getting help anywhere. That is a big issue right now of college is not seen as enough. It is often seen as a default, but because not having it is still fairly common, like, the act of not having a college degree is really bad on a resume, but it's not impossible to get hired without it. The act of having a college degree on a resume doesn't guarantee you anything. It just means that more than likely, if we're being honest, an algorithm probably is less likely to trash it. You keep getting rejected because you don't have a driver's license when you live like less than 3 miles from the workplace. We had our own fucking ID nightmare for a while there. Good God. Real IDs. Stupid shit. System also doesn't help. I remember having a job advisor. All he asked me is, what do you want to do? Yeah, why would you go to a job advisor? Like, okay. If the question being asked is like, what do you find fulfillment in doing? Because it's not necessarily what do you enjoy doing, because doing what you enjoy for a living is a good way to stop enjoying it. But what do you find fulfilling? Like, what acts do you find fulfilling? Because I feel like someone could land on house building pretty quick if they don't mind doing monotonous tasks so long as it's going towards, like, a large completed thing. Like, as long as it feels like, got that one done, and, like, you're accomplishing something. Then, versus someone who, like, I actually would prefer a Zen task where I can zone out and just, like, focus on the thing for a while. For a couple days at a time, I want to be able to shut my brain down for a while. Then there are jobs that would support that. But just being said, hey, what job do you want? Oh, I don't help. Hired for QA for Nether Realms, and the application portal has been telling him his app is submitted with zero indications, still in the queue or rejected. It's so fucking annoying. Lying on the resume is one of those things. It is like the speed limit, where if you were to actually put more restrictions on what you can get away with putting on a resume, people would push the boundaries further. They would get more creative with it. And with the speed limit, if you were to accept, okay, everybody's going like 10 miles above the speed limit, let's just increase the speed limit by 10 miles per hour. You know what people are gonna start doing? They're gonna go 10 miles over that. So you can't just linearly fix the problem. It just has to be acknowledged as, like, people are gonna lie on their resume. So if there's something that seems particularly sus, that's maybe worth sniffing out. But also, on the other end, if you're trying to get hired, don't lie bad. Do a better lie. I do actually feel like, because enough time has passed, if you're talking to a younger person at a, like, construction or electrical engineering or computer site, if you were to say, I got into this from Minecraft, because I did redstone stuff in Minecraft as a kid, they might actually recognize that as, like, oh, from an early age you had an interest in the principles here. I don't think that would be the case if it's like a Gen Xer or older, hiring you, but... Well, maybe Gen Xer. I don't know. Was Notch Gen X? I like how I said was. Who knows what happened to him? Fucking drowned in a sea of stale M&Ms. Don't tell potential investors you were the first American to work. Yeah, don't lie provably. Like, just say that you were involved in business in a place. Yeah. Managed to make an AI. I think they made, like, a basic neural network that had, like, memory capabilities, and that's definitely not the same thing as an AI, but I could see them using AI for clickbait for it. Heyo, Maru. He takes his takes ascended him to boomer. Yeah, he was looking to speed run to old age. Okay. Man, so I'm a cusper. I'm 27. I was born in 97, so, like, I'm, like, right on the edge of what's considered Gen Z. I do interchangeably say I'm Gen Z or I'm a millennial based off what would be funnier, though. Zoomer light. Yeah, let's see. So many things happened in the past week. A lot of them are global things. I will say, because we talked about it for a little bit on the Lunacid stream. I don't want to make this list stream, but she's a fucking cop. But also, I acknowledge that's genuinely a Benny for a lot of Democrats and moderates to vote for. But Kamala Harris is doing an okay job, and I am really, for my birthday, I'm really glad I don't have to vote for Genocide Joe. That's really cool. Thank you, thank you, the United States, for a good thing for my birthday. If you were born in 1999, you're a Zoomer. Swear, you are a Zoomer. Consider the coconut. 1995 to 2010. Oh, I do know someone who was born in 2012. Oh, God. Thor's sound. Thor's sound. I feel like there is a really... This has probably been here for a long time, but there's a noticeable generational divide in when people talk about video games, the way they describe what a video game, like, really is. By which I mean, I think older generations describe video games with the same language and visage in their head that one would describe, like, buying a VHS tape. Versus a lot of the younger generation seems to talk about games like going to see a movie. Like, it is an external act. It is not something you are purchasing to own. It is something you are experiencing that is happening separately. Like games are talked about like concerts, like an event is in town, and the event comes back every now and then. It's not an entity that you own. – 2003. Nothing makes you feel older than modern meme culture. A singing toilet has aged you 20 years. Fucking... Okay. Here's the thing. On the surface, I want to say Skibbity Toilet's fine. Like, I don't give a shit. It's not anything I watch or care about or would ever interact with. But I do enjoy Gen Alpha learns how to animate. I enjoy stop-motion animation that's absurdist. Is like a thing that crosses genres. Like, it would be dumbass claymation movies before. I made one of those when I was a kid. Yeah, see, that's the thing, is that Michael Bay is directing a movie about it, and that's the part where I'm going, huh, hold on. Wait. The culture is moving so... Like, this would be like if Michael Bay started making the Transformers movies in the early 90s. Like, it's crazy fast. I said that so confidently. When was the first live-action Transformers movie? Don't be the 90s, don't be the 90s, don't be the 90s. 2007. Oh, thank God. Whew. Yeah, Michael Bay is making a Skibbity Toilet movie. Like, okay, what is the stuff I was into when I was the age of people who would be into Skibbity Toilet? That, looking back now, I'm like, holy shit, what was I thinking? Like, why was this the thing I was interested in? For me, it was Fred I was into when I was like 8 or 9 or somewhere around there. And I'm sure my family could tell me examples, and I would be like, oh yeah, no, I remember that now too. Yeah, because we were of the generation that were targeted for it. Like, we were the demographic that I didn't watch the Nickelodeon show, but I did watch the YouTube show. Well, I was doing drugs, and I don't know if that's necessarily the thing. Like, there is a joy in I got this thing to work that I totally get. And that joy often comes from the first version of a project. I think a lot about, like, old school YouTubers, musicians, this happens with, like, people in a lot of fields, who, like, bang out a bunch of incredible, I say incredible, we'll get there, incredible videos or incredible songs, like, all at once early in their career, very quickly, and they blow up, and then they kind of spin on the same thing for forever, because they had those 10 ideas or however many, and the idea either ran thin or they ran out of variations on it. And rather than acknowledging maybe there's an audience for this, but I can't do only this is just an aspect of what I do, they just try to do it harder. And then people start to feel like, wow, they're really forcing it. Wow, they've really changed. They maybe they're not as good as I remember them. Oh god, Rage Comics, yeah. But that instinct of the first version of a project you make is all over the early internet and early YouTube specifically. It's not fair to say early YouTube is early internet, because it's like a fucking more than a decade difference, but early YouTube videos, there is an air of, like, I made a video. The fact that I was able to film this and edit it and put a joke in it at all is crazy and incredible, and it's so satisfying that I'm going to share it online. And there was such a thin pool of content on the internet that other people would see things that's like a basic concept of comedy that's interesting, but they'd see it in an internet format and go, oh wow, this is interesting, this is new, this is different. This less music is helping, I agree. So much of the early internet is someone coming up with a gimmick of a video editing style or a thing that looks interesting or compelling on camera, and then taking stand-up comedian or late-night show jokes or jokes from TV shows that they liked and doing a variation where you swap out the nouns or the wording of the verb, but it's still a joke structure, so it's an internet joke. So, like, the point I'm trying to make here is, if you remove all of the different people and amount of trying something and it doesn't work that goes into TV production, you would get a lot of internet video style stuff of first take, it works, it's fine, it's good, we'll make it work. And it's not the best version of the joke, it's not the most compelling version of the concept, but it is the one that made it online, and the seeds of something interesting are there. That act of, oh, I see where you were going with this, I see the kind of thing you were trying to do, I would like to see you approach that more and more, is compelling to, especially to a young audience, because it speaks the same language as a TV show having a progressive plot. Like, you are watching a content creator develop their style and become more competent at the thing they're doing and become more engaging and more focused and get better technology. It feels like an arc of a TV show. It's like watching Dragon Ball and watching Goku grow up. Like, you feel like you are on board with it. As is the case with TV shows that we are into with kids, a lot of that happens in a fairly short period of time. Like, a lot of early internet people were popular for years and years and years, but the period of time each individual fan of them really cared about them was staggered over those years. Like, someone would really be into Fred for like 6 months. Someone would really be into Logan Paul for like 8 months and then kind of fall off of him. And it makes total sense to me that people would watch cringe and watch people who we look back on now and go, well, that guy's obviously a creep. Like, it's so... I'm not saying that about Fred, for the record. I don't think there's anything about that, about Lucas. But I don't think it's unfair, or rather, sorry, I do think it's unfair to criticize cringe that people are into when they're young, because the nature of the burgeoning developing internet was very similar to a narrative developing in a TV show. And it was free and online, and we felt like we had unique, exclusive access to it. Creators who are like YouTube fossils. Well, it is the equivalent of bands who had a bunch of hits in the 80s who still exist. They just tour, and they just keep doing the same things over and over. Maybe occasionally they put out a new song that sounds pretty much just like one of their old songs, but maybe with a new synth on it. Maybe featuring Billie Eilish. Try to get the kids interested. And then every now and then, you do get a band that everyone kind of wrote off and are like, yeah, they were popular back then, but they're not popular now, who make something very compelling and interesting, and suddenly focus returns to them of, oh yeah, they've been here, they've been doing this. Watching someone else play a game and bringing in their personality, yeah, like it feels like you're like. It's no wonder so many people developed parasocial relationships, because the act of I'm gonna do a let's play every day and record it every day and talk about my life with my friends is it's like a diary. Like, you are reading along with a person's life. No wonder you would get attached. So, I don't think it's fair to overly criticize the way people interacted with the early internet, because this language hadn't really been developed yet. People, even today, people treat content on a screen online with the same sort of acknowledgement and expectation as they might of something that's fully produced for television, when often it might just be one person making it, and anything that feels... I guess maybe that's also partially the fault of this whole one-person syndrome anyways, coming from the other end of people really do like, or if nothing else, companies like to market projects being made by a creative mind, right? Like, this is the creative who created this game, this is the director who made this movie, when that's just not at all the reality. Except online, where it often can be. But people are already used to the idea of, like, this was all done by one person, so it's easy to accept that online, but then to see the more personal touches of that person and feel like they did it for me, instead of they did it because they wanted to make art. Like, there's still a layer of disconnection of I sent it to a studio to ship and produce that I think audiences accept for something like a movie or a TV show. Yes, the famous line. The idea of watching someone play games 24/7 to me is torture, but I acknowledge for a lot of other people it is soothing. I'm not sure how I feel, because I think there are definitely creators who acknowledge that parasocial relationships are very easy to accidentally develop online, and then choose to lean into that. But I think more commonly, people don't realize that's what they're doing, because they're also getting the dopamine. They're also like, oh my god, this person loves my work, I want to talk to them and see what else they have to say. Like, oh my god, my fans want to hang out with me. That's so cool. These people really like the thing I made. That's incredible. It's a trap. It can be really easy to fall into that and to not realize, like, wait, I also have a responsibility to keep a layer of distance from people when I'm only selecting to put so much out there. I have done that so many times. I wrote an entire video talking about how I used to be like a fucking shitty 4chan incel when I was like 14, 15, early 16, and then had an event occur that snapped me out of it, and I had to like slowly undo. I don't like saying everyone was, because a lot of people really weren't. A lot of people were the victims of those people when they were young. But of having to undo everything that I gotten comfortable for doing to relax or unwind. So I wrote out, like, this really? Oh, wow. Shit. But, like, I realized I probably need to stop going on 4chan, but that meant giving up playing Showderp. But every time I played Pokemon Showdown, I would want to play that game mode, I would think of it as, but that would mean getting on 4chan. So eventually I stopped playing Pokemon Showdown. I was doing all of the heists in GTA 5 online with people, and those people really wound up to be some real fucking creeps. And I realized that playing that game online just made me worried I was gonna get matched with them or end up with people like them, so I stopped playing it. Man, Eric, I'm really... It's weird to say this about you saying I almost subscribed to Ben Shapiro, but I'm really glad to hear that, because it's so easy without community to fall for someone saying the reason you don't have community is because they're out to get you, and let me explain it to you. And it's slick fucking presentation. If you are not that worried about the substance, because you know a lot of what you're peddling is bullshit, you can spend a lot more time on presentation. You can spend a lot more time trying to make the thing that you're selling look good. There's a lack of substance, but I think beyond any policy thing, the way I try to see it that helps ground me is it is, for a lot of people, something that started as a social club. Like, being right-wing meant you... Yeah, you've identified that, Eric. Like, you could talk about things that sounded smart, and you could put emotion and passion and your own personal experience and take into and be rewarded for it. Because if it's wrong, that's not as important in the right-wing world, as long as it gets the message across you're trying to get across. So there's a lot of people who get into it the same way they get into debate club or a soccer team or playing a video game that they realize a lot of people playing it are pretty fashy. And then, if you want to uncouple yourself from those politics, if you realize as you get older, like, hang on, all that shit I was saying about people, like, they don't deserve this, why should they get this and I don't? I'm realizing there's a lot more context I didn't have and that situation's more complicated. I need to reconnect. How are you gonna approach the friends you've made? How are you gonna explain to them, like, guys, maybe we're all wrong? How are you going? You have to detach yourself, and that's hard because you lose all of the things that you use to de-stress. You lose those experiences. You lose playing games and hanging out with friends and just having a pint with the lads. If you want to stand up for morals that they will insult you for having. Auf diese Battles? Yeah, I think both admitting that you're wrong or also admitting that I need to trust an expert on this. I can understand people's instincts to not trust every purported expert of every subject. There are grifters out there. There are people who are just wrong. There are bad actors, absolutely. However, I think a lot of people, if they acknowledge that I am not smart enough to understand something, defer to someone who they don't see as an expert on the subject, because that feels like you're gonna get the systems version of it, the industry's version of it. I would rather hear someone who's slick and smooth talking explain it to me in a way that I will be able to relate to. So Ben Shapiro becomes compelling to that person. Like, I dunk on those idiot fascists, but also I can understand how someone would get to the point of going, I don't know, like, he's said a lot of words really quickly, and he cited a lot of sources that I looking into, they seem legitimate. That's a university, I think. They called themselves that. Surely, if they aren't a university, they wouldn't be allowed to call themselves that. I'm absolutely also guilty of it. But yeah, it's both admitting that you're wrong and admitting that I don't know enough about this, and that means I'm gonna have to trust somebody else who does. Cause for the people, I think there are Bill Maher types who dismiss both sides of the issue if they don't understand it, and then say that the issue doesn't matter if they don't understand it. And that's a camp of thought you also gotta make sure you stay out of. This is too complicated, I don't understand it, I'm gonna choose to not understand it and to not examine it any further. Tears of Pirates, please take care, and please, best of luck finding work. Be aggressive. You gotta be aggressive if there's any way that you can be aggressive about it. I'm so sorry. Piecing out is good, but sometimes if the thing you don't know about is a really pressing issue, there's a difference between needing to have a public take about everything and at least having a passing understanding of it because there's a chance it will come up in your day-to-day life. I do not expect every individual to post how they think the war in Gaza should be ended. I do not expect that from anyone. I do think adults should at least try to get a passing understanding of what's going on. If for no other reason, then so the first time they are forced to confront that understanding, it is not from a grifter trying to sell them something or from an event occurring in their immediate life and people being very hostile in that moment. Like, this is the biggest folly of any protest. This is not an issue specific to the Gaza protests, of any protests from the left, of an assumption that you all should know what we know, and if you don't, it's because you are not caring about it. There is a certain amount of, like, okay. You can't just assume everyone is on the same wavelength as you and get mad at them if they aren't, is the point I'm making. If you do, that is how you get, lefties who agree with each other on most things arguing with each other about stupid minor shit into a fight that breaks out way too big. If memory serves, that was a comment that he made. There was a larger context around it, but it still wasn't good. But also, like, Netanyahu is an actual war criminal, like, wanted by the ICJ. Like, thankfully we're at the point where I don't feel like I need more justifications to say that Netanyahu needs to be deposed, because he is an active war criminal. Like, and we let him talk fucking Congress. I don't want to get too far into it because it is inherently dicey, but the point I am making is knowledge about these things is better than takes. Even if the knowledge you get afterwards is like, damn, that sucks and I don't know what to do about it. Because that reaction of, damn, that sucks and I don't know what to do about it, is an okay reaction to have. but it is a real convenient excuse if the thing you're actually trying to say is, I don't know the first thing about anything going on, but I've heard it's a lot, so I'm just not gonna I'm not gonna acknowledge it. Yeah, they only have legal authority when it's a ruling that the country that is involved with it agrees with. Otherwise, they have no legal authority. It's fucking hilarious. Because it is hard. You have to, if you're going to be a public-facing figure, you have to acknowledge that anything you say will be taken out of context. It simply will. Whether it be purposeful or genuine misunderstanding. And I think there is a certain defense that has been found for that. Like, it is harder to defend on that if you're someone who is, like, leaning more socialist in your politics. Because a lot of people already are going to be dismissive of you, even Democrats. It's a fucking balancing act, like, because you can't get mad about it either, because, no, you just didn't understand me is the most highfalutin bullshit you can hear from a lefty. Like, have all of us known that one communist friend who you can't like, you agree with him on things, but you can't actually have a discussion with him about it because he gets way too confrontational, and if you don't agree with him, he says, well, you just don't get it. You haven't read the literature. Do we all have a friend like that? Cause I do. I love they're the people who have really strong, like, opinions on who is the real bastard at the studios of Disco Elysium. They're people who have a very strong opinion on what went down there. Saying to someone, no, you just didn't understand me, is a really irritating response to hear. Yeah, there's an issue with arrogance, there's an issue with assuming people already agree with you. I talked about this in the Hard Space Shipbreaker video. The writers of that game really fucking assume that the audience already agrees with them. And I don't know who that performative, like, work together to form a union talk was for, if they weren't doing it themselves until after launch. If they weren't going to write assuming players wouldn't be in agreement with them by default. I think this is also the biggest criticism people have that I disagree with about Road 96 and Road 96 Mile Zero. A huge criticism of those games is that the left-wing politics are sometimes magical and that the right-wing politics are absurdist. But that feels like a criticism coming from a leftist. That feels like a criticism coming from someone who is like, yeah, wouldn't it be nice if these things could work? But I know they can't. Like, when they're selecting something that is ostensibly agreeing with them, in their head, they're feeling like they're saying it for the 1000th time, instead of having that realization for the first time. Which is what that game is good at. If people who don't really know what their political opinions are, and they want to explore, like, well, actually, I agree with this decision or this decision, and then see how people react to that. Like, if you go in assuming the game is gonna agree with you and get mad when it doesn't, it's really fucking irritating. Mile Zero, in particular, is more of a specific political, where do your own personal politics fall exploration. The decisions in that game are much more about the individual you're playing as politics. But Road 96, the other game, is more of a general, assuming you disagree with the person in charge, assuming you disagree with whoever the ruler is, how do you feel about politics? Because disagreeing with a dictator doesn't mean that you don't have politics that merit a dictator. There are people who will say, like, no, I can fix it. Just I will do it. Or, we just need to elect someone who will arrest all of them and then have it be over with. That's a dark fucking road to go down. That sets a new precedent for what is allowed from leadership, that if that's allowed, so much other bullshit will be allowed, and we barely have any precedent left upholding the idea of leadership in this country. Real life also seems... Yeah, that exactly, Square. Like, there are people arguing from the left for a dictator. There are people arguing from the perspective of, I think everyone should have equal rights, who think that the way to do that is we need a king, is that we just need a person who has total authority to do everything. And that's not me saying the current system works. Obviously, it's not working. Obviously. We have been deadlocked in Congress forever and ever. And there are genuine ways to overcome that. Mainly killing the filibuster. That would allow actual progress to be made. And all of the arguments about why the filibuster shouldn't be killed are based off of the idea that, well, the right could do bad things if the filibuster... Imagine, guys, if the right wing were able to make massive policy changes across the United States suddenly and without consequence. Wouldn't that be bad? Wouldn't that be a bad thing to have kept happening for the past several months thanks to the Supreme fucking Court? Like, it's crazy to think that the solution is just we need to consolidate more power in a single figure, and to not try to acknowledge why there are so many people who are at that point in the first place. And as I say that, I say it's crazy, but I have to take a further step back and acknowledge people get to that point by being so tired and so stressed and so upset with the state of the world that the only thing they can imagine is someone doing the metaphorical nuclear option of, fuck it, I will just take care of everything. I understand how someone could get to that point. I understand how someone could get to the point of, fuck it, just let a person fix all of that. There's lots of bottoms out there. But you can't abandon the logic that is upholding the concept of the thing you're trying to get to work long enough for that thing to just work, and then readopt that logic. That is not how the world will see it. It will be a coup. I didn't mean to talk so much about politics. I apologize. But it's true of any project. You can't just do all of it yourself and expect everyone to go along with it. Because inevitably, it doesn't take much for a person to disagree with you, and then they will disagree with your policies. And then it doesn't matter what you're doing, they will disagree with it. Eric, please take care. Thank you so much. trying to decide, because I don't want to keep talking about politics, but it's like 98 days to the election. It's pretty hard to not talk about it. See, I'm a believer in two things when it comes to that. I'm a believer in non-violent solutions should be the first option and the most thoroughly explored option. And I'm also a believer in you shouldn't talk about your plans online. And I will leave that with my personal note of I am physically too unhealthy to accomplish anything that isn't just working on a computer. So okay, I want to ask about this, y'all. How are we feeling well, it's because it's an election year, it's hard to avoid. How are we all feeling about old games getting new DLC? About this trend lately of Castle Crashers and Dungeon Defenders, and I think there are a couple of others, of like pretty old games getting new DLC releases. Yeah, I wanted to gauge people's feelings about it. So, here's my opinion is separate from the reality of the situation. In my opinion, I think it is really cool and also happening because of a bad reason, but that doesn't change the fact that it's cool. It seems to be it seems to be that it's difficult to get people to buy a new game, right? Like, it is difficult to convince people to pay $60 for a game now, or however much you want to charge, especially when Game Pass exists. It is easier to convince someone to pay $8 for a expansion to a game that has been in their library forever. I think this is studios trying to make money and going, we can't compete with new shit, but people already own our game. We can just pick up these tools, saves money by just picking up from where we left off, and then run with it. And I think it's weirdly kind of beautiful. Like, it's almost a unique medium to video games. The ability for, like, it would be like the equivalent of, instead of doing reshoots to change how a movie ends, if you could just, like, enter the movie and just move things around and change how it goes and add new, like, you have to create new material no matter what, but it almost feels like you're stepping back in time to resume from where you left off, and that's incredible. Yeah, it is a double-edged sword, I agree. Are there other games doing this? Castle Crashers and Dungeon Defenders are the two that come to mind. We've just decided. Also, Raid World War II isn't getting DLC, but it is getting updates that are community-driven. I gotta say, also, they seem to be pretty competent. They seem to be, like, pretty damn well thought out updates, too. Like, I read the whole developmental log for the proficiency system they're doing, and it was fascinating to see the perspective there. Fallout 4 also got a update. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe the success of Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 doing it spurred on studios to do it. Oh, who gifted me Little Kitty Big City? I got a gift. Stan? Thank you. Stan, thank you. Thank you. I will get to play the game that... what was the indie prestige darling robot game called? Stray. The game that Stray was supposed to be. Yay! Thank you. Thank you. Fallout London. It was rhetorically a success. That's a good point. You are right, because it mechanically broke so much shit, but rhetorically, the idea of we are patching it, like, was a success. Like, if nothing else, because Fallout 76 was muddling the narrative, like, that also being successful. No Man's Sky also got a big update recently that added so much, like, nuance to the game. Yeah, they definitely rushed the Fallout 4 update due to the success of the series on Amazon. Even smoke. Letting it charge. I'm planning to stream more Lunacid this week. I don't know about tomorrow. Probably Thursday. Probably Thursday I'll stream. I meant to stream yesterday, but I was honestly just too tired. I think I've talked about this on stream before, but I will just briefly say I have been off of since I turned 26, so for a little under a year now, because it took a while to run out after I couldn't buy it anymore. I've been off of bipolar medication, and it's made me funnier. I've noticed that I have less trouble coming up with bits and jokes now, but it's also killing me. My mind is devouring itself. It's really hell. I think there is going to be an air pronouns of the character creator that does nothing is based as hell. That was added specifically to spite people on the forums complaining about the game having pronouns. Like, I think it was that, I don't know the specifics of that story, but like someone was complaining about using gender neutral pronouns, so the game added a pronoun slider. You're right, it was because of Starfield. I got another. Oh, Mega Man 11! Oh my gosh! Thank you! Thank you! That one I'll probably play through again on my own time. Let me actually go ahead and install that. It will be really nice to play that on a graphics card that isn't the one that's on the Switch. Because when I reviewed Mega Man 11... Thank you, Sophia. I reviewed the Switch release. Game is only 2 gigabytes. Let's go. Thank you. I intend to, after the Payday 3 video is done, make a point of playing a lot of games that are not at all like Payday, because I have done nothing but play Payday and Payday likes for the past couple of months for this fucking video, and I grow tired, but I like a slop shooter. I like a good looter, looter in the sense of stealing money, but shooter in the sense of you get to customize and hold on to your one, like your guns that you like. No, but how else are you going to fit in the game's incredibly detailed sand texture for the whole landscape? That's gotta be another 10 gigabytes. It's Forte Sam, baby. I should play Red Dead Redemption 2 at some point. I've seen the entire story by watching Austin play it, but like the way that game is played is fascinating to me. It is very much encouraging you to do role playing, to like do out of game role playing. Like you, the player, try to immerse yourself in the idea of shit, they're hunting me, shit, I have a bounty, I need to go find somewhere to eat, it's been a while. It is very long, that's the other issue, is time. So much shit to do. Okay. And I'm doing it to myself too. I'm like self-sabotaging when it comes to time, because I'm the one here deciding that I want to do a remix for this fucking video. So I have to learn how to fucking use new software. Like, I'm the one who is deciding that I want this video to be not just about one thing, but about a larger subject as well. Like, if I really wanted to, I could have been done with the video by now. I could have just made the slop video and, like, set a timer for myself. But I'm doing it right. I'm doing it complicated, because that's how I get the videos that I'm proud of. The ones that people can watch and rewatch and notice new things. It's also a game that benefits. I've received another gift, apparently. Oh, God. Oh, Risk of Rain returns. Shit, I have been curious. Thank you. Let me install this. Hold on. I'm not gonna play it right now, I don't think, but I am curious. Because I liked Risk of Rain just fine. I liked Risk of Rain 2 a lot, and I'll admit, this, okay, I want to ask, has anyone else had this experience of modding a game kind of ruining it for you? Like, you install too many mods, and then what you expect the game to be and what you want from the game changes on a fundamental level, and then it's not giving you the same thing anymore. Like, I had to be real careful when playing Baldur's Gate 3 with Austin what mods I was okay with us using, because there were certain things that would change stuff too much to the point where, like, we're not even really playing the same game anymore, and I would like to experience the same thing everyone else did. Like, this is not me saying that modding a game cheapens the value. I am saying that, like, if what I want from the game is a core game loop and the mod changes that game loop, and I don't like the new game loop more, but I do enjoy having modded content, I feel like I'm now deciding between a base game that isn't quite everything I think is possible now from this game versus a modded game that isn't as tightly satisfying as the vanilla experience is. It's like why I don't want to get really nice coffee too often, because if I do, it will ruin all of the just normal coffee that I drink. Like, if I'm just drinking, I'll be like, ugh, I wish this was more But I can't do that more all the time because it's often too much. Speedrunning can do the same thing. I have heard that tale from people about games before, of you stop being able to engage with the game the way you expect to because your brain is attuned to it going faster. Your brain is attuned to skipping all of this shit, to not paying attention to any of this. And if you try to force yourself to do it, it is pretty easy for that old instinct to kick in and for you to wish you were going faster and wish you were doing something else, or to feel like you aren't accomplishing what you want to be accomplishing in the game. You don't get the same satisfaction. I actually was able to recapture a little bit. You can get this too, Jay. I was able to recapture that when we were playing Payday 3, when I was getting cinematic footage, where I was on purpose. I had an explicit reason to try and make the game look as good as possible and as focused and as serious play as possible, and playing with the music off. And I got to really engage with the game loop in a way I hadn't for the first 100 or so hours as much, because I was so used to it, to that kind of game loop. Bethesda games are especially vulnerable to this. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it is funny that there's two camps. Like, okay. There's the two camps of modders, of horny mods, whether that take the form of boob armor or yassified portraits or what have you. And then there is gun mods, of the people who don't like the particular way the gun go click in the game and would actually prefer instead the gun go click in a more, way. Like it doesn't click the way I want it to click. I want it to click a better way. Oh yeah, there are lots of people who make mods for the sake of, wouldn't it be funny if I did this, and also I can figure out how to do this. Like, I can figure out how to do this kind of thing. Modders turn into game developers a lot of the time. That happens. You learn principles that you didn't. Yeah, they start from, I would like a horny thing in this game, and then they learn how to make mechanics in the game, and then they go on to make Stellar Blade. Was that too mean? I don't think that's too mean. I'll admit, a thing that has made me engage with older games, or games I haven't played before, like, I think I'm just too old school, like, 2000s gamer brain, and achievements. Unlocking achievements makes the dopamine hit. I can't explain it, but games that have like 1,000+ achievements, being on the upper side of that makes me like, yeah, I did it. Like, I got all the achievements in Resident Evil 2 Remake and 3 Remake. I got all the achievements in Risk of Rain 2 Returns. I have tried over and over to get the final achievement in Paradise Killer to proc of beating the game in 10 minutes, but no matter what I do, it doesn't count it as 10 minutes. I don't understand. Ah. Yeah, there are, Austin is that way about the Mass Effect series. He has, like, all of the achievements in the game, except for playing through on the highest difficulty, and the one that would require you to, like, play through Mass Effect 3 twice in a row on the same save file. Because you have to reach, like, a weapon level 30, something like that. Master Chief Collection, it's another example, yep. I got all of the sub-stories in Yakuza Kiwami. And I thought that was all the achievements, but it wasn't. But those games, I could absolutely see myself going back through at some point to pick off achievements I haven't gotten. Getting birthday wishes from my fiance's coworkers. The baseball minigame is what stopped you. See, I like the baseball minigame. Mahjong is what stops me. I'm bad at Mahjong. I think it's just I don't understand it enough. To this day, I have not launched Payday 2 since COVID, like, since the COVID lockdown started. And, I have still 82%. Oh, did people start using this music for a meme? Oh god, I've had this song on my stream playlist forever. But I have over 82% of the achievements. I have 1,001 achievements. A Game Boy Mahjong game. Interesting. I'm not on Socialmedia, really. Co-host isn't the Socialmedia in the same way, so I'm not seeing the memes everyone's seeing. I'm not on Sky Blue. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on TalkTick. I'm not on X. I'll check it out in shitposting. If I can help it, I'm not going to launch Payday 2 really ever again, but for this project. I have no shortage of Payday 2 footage from my channel catalog, and I don't think I'm gonna need to talk about specifics in the game since I left. I just need to talk about that things happened since I left. Yeah, sometimes a meme will overwhelm you all at once, and you won't. I think a lot of Gen X is confronting that with Brat right now. Like, I haven't heard the album, but this color of green text is funny. Kamala Harris president. Like, it's so fucking funny. I do think there were a lot of people that, like, for a couple of days before it became a cultural phenomenon, were like that about Drake versus Kendrick. Oh, I have seen these. Okay, yes. Sanctuary Garden meme. Is it not garden? Am I dyslexic? Sanctu... It is Guardian. Gee, I am dyslexic. Fuck. Did Starbreeze reach out to you to ask to use Clover footage? No! I don't... because they credited... Honestly, even if they didn't, credit me, I wouldn't have pursued it, but I definitely would have been snide about it in the video. But because they credited the footage, I don't care. They are welcome to do that. I also know that, like, George Van Collenberg has done it without credit in the past, and, like, I didn't care about that either. It's not a big deal to me. I try to credit all footage that I use from other channels in my videos, but I acknowledge that's not default behavior, and it's... the company has other shit they're worrying about. Yeah, that's fine. I just think it's crazy that they couldn't just get footage of playing as Clover. They were trying to make a point of how the game used to look back when she launched. But they didn't, because that was modded footage. Take care, Jay. Peace. Explaining memes. That's what Know Your Meme is for. Wait, is it? Is Know Your Meme... Is that happening? I don't know. I didn't hear about that. What? This is like when I found out that Neopets was taken over by Scientologists. Like, wait, what? You're exaggerating. Tabernacle. Okay, okay. Huh. Okay, okay. Good. Whew. Phew. 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 I feel like the Sly games would be fun ones to stream with Ozzy, but we've got stuff planned. We might... I'm not certain about this. We're gonna try, but we might be streaming Apollo Justice, the next entry, Wednesday. However, all of us have bad physical health and busy schedules right now. All three of us, Ozzy, Marina, and I. So it might not happen. We are going to try and do it. We're gonna try and sit down for a couple of hours and start and like really get into it. That's also a thing. I've gotta make sure that I can just start into it. That's a good thing to check. I am certain you can. However, I am a little bit worried that it will not let me jump straight to the second game. It will expect me to play the first. It looks like me to play through Apollo Justice again. And I will do that. I'll speedrun it off screen if I need to, but I'm guessing I can probably just select from the list of games. You can just launch any game. Good. Yep, so we will get into that. Exciting. Alright. I think that's gonna have to be it for now, though. The re-release comes with the DLC. Yeah, we're gonna go through the DLC as well. I think I'm gonna head out for now. I would like to stream Wednesday, and if I'm gonna do that, I have to get some of the work done now. Otherwise, the video is not gonna be ready come September. In my mind, what I want to happen is I want it to come out on September 8th, if memory serves. Maybe it's 7th, but the anniversary of the first time I uploaded a Payday video. I would like that to be the case. That would be the 7th anniversary, I think. But it's fine if it's done. If it's not done by then, it's not done by then. I'm not gonna rush it. I already have 30 1,000 words to read. I already have so much written about this fucking game. Thank you all so much for coming by. Thank you for the subscriptions. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for being excited for Ace Attorney. That makes me really happy to hear. I really want you all to take care of yourselves, take care of your friends, take care of your family. Please take care. I love y'all.